Good evening and welcome to a quick recap here of my trades in the S&P 500. I'm still holding these shares from down here. I'm still holding my 2021 350 and 400 calls. Looks like we're well on our way to at least try and make the move back up to all-time highs, although I understandably am a little premature in saying that. I believe it will reach all-time highs again. It's just a matter of time and how much of the negativity is priced in this initial drop. As I just said in my Apple recap, when the market sells off like this, and then you still have negative information coming out as far as economic numbers, unemployment, whatever the case may be, and the market does not sell off, I've been around long enough to believe that actually means it was an overreaction to the downside. So when negative news is causing actual buying to come into the market, all that negativity is priced in simply because the market, as everybody should understand as a trader or an investor, the market is forward looking. So it doesn't care about what's happening or what has happened last month. It doesn't care about what's happening this week. It doesn't care about what's happening next week or even next month sometimes. I mean, this is it's a forward looking vehicle, and big money, big participants do not trade the intraday moves up and down like I do for the most part, and like a lot of other traders. So what has happened, or what appears to have happened, is big money came in, got put to work here off of lows, much like I said it would at these December 2018 lows. A lot of businesses became very, very cheap. I personally put some money to use. My family, I convinced them to put some money to use, and now we've rallied 25, 30% off of the recent lows, and seem to be receiving a lot of thank yous from a lot of them. So some people wish they would have bought more. Maybe we get another chance to actually add into it. If the market starts to roll, maybe lock in some profits and be prepared to add again lower. But for now, it looks like the market is pricing in all the negative news. And even if we do have a pullback coming into the next couple of weeks, big money's been put to use. I mean, there's zooming out here, hardly any period in history where this much volume was taking place in a month. I mean, you have 5.9 billion shares of the S&P 500. That is absolutely massive. The only other times that we've had more volume than that was back here, the housing crisis 2008, and even then that did actually lead to at least a bottoming formation, a bottoming pattern. And back then, yes, we had the internet. Yes, there was access to some information, but there's much more widely available information as far as businesses and investing ideas for the general public, for firms, for hedge funds, for pension funds, for everybody to realize that here in 2020, a lot of businesses were at a deep, deep discount. So with that said, the only other time we had something close was right here, 8.8 billion shares in August of 2011, 2012. So my point is these points in time created tremendous buying opportunities, even on the drops that were not so significant. At the time, probably looked very scary. I was not actively trading during this time, so I don't know how the market was reacting, how participants were reacting. But as you can see, when this kind of volume has come in the past, it's led to tremendous buying opportunities. We've rallied back up to all-time highs in short order, at least in the grand scheme of things. So as I always say, the S&P 500, in my opinion, is a vehicle designed to go up and will continue to do so probably until the world ends or until population starts to dwindle. Is the coronavirus something that's going to do that? Based on the statistics, if you do your own research and don't listen to CNN, MSNBC, and all these nonsense news channels, no, the population is not going to start to reduce itself. We will lose some life, which is sad as it is. We lose lives every day, not just to some new virus that's out there. So with that said, real quick, I'm going to touch on the trades I've taken this week. As I said, I'm still in these shares. Here on Monday, my plan was to buy these 270 calls and hold all week. Well, I initially bought some here at 94. Those stopped me out at 88. Then I rebought right here as it started to rally back up higher. If I go down to the 5-minute chart, it's actually easier to see where and why I bought. Anyways, bought back in here at 88, added there at 93, reduced on this pop to a high of day at 125. Looked like we may have broken down, so I did take some more off here. And I wanted to hold them all week, but with this run up here on the day for Monday, and with the way price action has been acting lately, we were above what was a resistance. I thought maybe I could buy back lower the next day, Was not the case, so I actually dumped all of these here between 230 and 267 right there into the close. They opened up the next day at $7. I wish I would have held. They actually finished the week up. I think they tagged 11 before it was all said and done. But missed opportunity. I am learning from it, and will continue to do my reviews and better prepare myself for these moves in the future, as there will be other opportunities like this. So Tuesday, chopped up here a little bit. Took a small loss here. Took these 275 calls here at I believe it's 159 or so is what I got in at. 160. On this initial drop, went ahead and dumped those here at 146. Bearish engulfing bar, no reason to hold through that. Once it came down, gave me an inside bar, nice trigger to go ahead and buy versus these lows. Got it at 120, reduced to 152.5. Came up here to the opening price, took some more off here once it started to roll over, and the rest trailed me out. So very nice trade there. Did very well on Tuesday. Tried to catch the low here. I actually got a great fill at this point. Don't know why, but I was watching the 1 minute chart and got it at 188 and out at 180. I think these went up to like maybe $2.50, $3 or so here on these 270 calls going into the close. So I was just a little nervous with the volatility that has happened. Once price action starts to put in a bottom and it starts to roll over, I was kind of half expecting the market to just implode on itself. Again, we had run up pretty far, pretty fast, and we were coming back into the high of the previous day, and just did not think it was going to hold support there. So it is what it is. Then here on to, what was this, Wednesday, I believe. Nothing off of the open, was watching some other individual names. Had a small little scalp here, got these 275 calls here at 41, out at 45. Nothing really to be too excited about there. Took some, I don't have that note on here, but I took some weekly 255 puts here into the close. Well, actually, I think that was Tuesday. Closed them out once we broke above the opening high, but anyways, I don't have that note on. I have to go back and look at that. Here on to Thursday, tried to catch a little bounce here in these 280 calls, stopped me out for small loss. Went ahead and re-entered here at 121, took some off there at what, 180-ish, and the rest stopped me out over here at 149. So could have held them a little bit longer. As you can see, price action did go up later in the day. Tried a 278 puts right here at 145. Came down to the recent opening range low and just closed those out at 202. Those did go very well in the money, and would have been a very nice hold if it came down here. I think they went up to like 3.5, something like that. But it is what it is. Just missed a bottoming trade right here. I was looking at I believe it was the weekly 276s. They came down 159. I was trying to buy them at 155, and they rallied up to 3.5, 330, 3.5 somewhere by the end of the day. So I was in the right place, right time, just lowballed my offer, lowballed my bid just a little bit too much, and we'll see what happens going into next week. Now, so anyways, now that we have rallied off of lows, even though it is possible we may come back and retest them. I know a lot of talking heads, a lot of FinTwits are calling for a retest of lows. It may or may not happen. I'm actually going to look for some swing trades in the overall market here. Reason being, very bullish pattern here has set up. At the time that I drew this, looked like we had a potential inverted head and shoulders here. The measure move from this little bit of a bull wedge down here, measure move up to about 289, 290. The more aggressive, optimistic price target up here is just above the 200 SMA at around 305-ish. And as you can see, we've already broken above there. It was a significant amount of volume on that breakout and backtest. So no reason to believe we don't actually pop up there. I ideally would like to see a pullback here early in next week and capture some of that move going forward. So what I'm looking at is just simply buying some 265 calls here around the 8 and 21 EMAs right at this level, about 4 weeks out into the future. Now they are going to be a little bit pricey because volatility is kind of high right now, and if it comes down and it just chops sideways for a while, I will look at this as a potential base to set up and go ahead and buy and buy and buy until it starts to move up higher. Now if there is a clean and clear break below these two levels, that's going to be my cue to get out, because that's also going to avoid this this bullish pattern that has set up right here at this red line, which I'm actually going to change green now. So anyways, that's my plan for the S&P 500 and the trades I've taken this week. Also want to touch on the internals that I like to use to kind of gauge whether or not they are confirming what the overall market is doing. So first of all, here onto technology, very blank chart, just a couple of levels I'm looking at. Key level immediately is 204.5-ish. Now, if we're unable to break above these little bit of resistance here on Monday, Tuesday, very good possibility we come back down to 196 to 195 area down here. I still have these green lines. This is the anchored VWAP from this significant turning point here on March 23rd. So it looks like we've put in a significant bottom, at least for the time being, based on the volume of participation. There's probably a lot of money that's being put to use. Now, financials, huge rally here on Thursday, 148 million, I call it 148 million shares is massive. Ever since this initial drop, that's the highest volume we've had in a very, very, very long time. Zooming out here to the longer term time frame, we've reclaimed this trend that has broken, and hopefully we stay above this, call it 2240, and the low of December 2018 was 2205. So above there, we're back inside this trend, should be able to realistically reach all-time highs again within the next year and a half or so. Pretty confident about that. A lot of the banks, as I've said in my past videos, were the ones that were trading at very nice discounts, paying very, very beautiful dividends, and hopefully some participants were able to capture those moves. Transportation index, another one of these nice V bottoms here, a little bit of a flag pulled back. I do expect to pull back in a lot of these sectors, not an overall rollover, although again, it's not impossible. But as of right now, we also have a new trend that has developed, the anchored VWAP. So anywhere between, call it 140 and 137.5 should hold support in my opinion. If not, then we're certainly going to at least come back down to 129, possibly even this 116 area. So transports are actually looking good as well. And if you follow my videos, you know I believe in Dow theory and how transports go actually lead the market. So as long as it keeps going up, at least consolidates, it does not roll over, we're good to go, and market should continue to move higher. And now I have Microsoft. I'll go over Apple and Google, or Apple and Amazon here in a moment. Microsoft is putting in a little bit of a bull flag, although it doesn't look that nice because it's all red bars here. But still looking very strong. This is one of the few names that actually did not completely get demolished in this sell-off. Just came back down to the mid 2019 area of chop between here 140 and 130. Participants loved those prices. We'll see if it does, if they hold when it comes back down to test again. Maybe we come back down to 154.5. But again, this is another name that's very, very strong, and no reason to believe that it's actually going to get hurt too bad. I mean, it's a technology company. You don't have to go to stores to buy things from Microsoft. You know, they have their online services. They have, you know, their office suite. Their all kinds of stuff that's outside of the actual consumer goods. So Microsoft is a strong company and should probably continue to perform fairly well. Apple, as I've already gone over, inside month here, as long as it stays above the opening price of the month, should be good to go, and look for some long opportunities here for Apple. Same thing with all the other sectors I've touched on. This green line here is the anchored VWAP. Ideally, I would like to buy down there, but I'm also looking at taking a swing off of the 8 and 21 moving averages, which were around 264-ish. So I have two main levels that I'm keying on right here for Apple. But overall, every one of these names I'm going over has put in a nice bottoming pattern, a V bottom, and they look very strong. Amazon right here is looking like one of the strongest names in the market. There's a few others that are still actually making all-time highs, not components of the S&P 500, but there are names out there that are still printing highs somehow. Anyways, Amazon is going to be a huge beneficiary of this coronavirus shutdown. People don't want to go to stores, even though you see the lines and the videos of people at Walmart and Costco and Kroger and all that stuff. Amazon's going to be a huge beneficiary. I mean, people are paying for Prime. People are paying for their goods because they don't want to go to stores. They want to have things delivered, dropped off. They don't have to worry about getting out, potentially getting sick, and all that nonsense. So looks like it's going to benefit very well, at least in my opinion. So anyways, reclaim this this gap right here, just closed above it here on Thursday. Next level above is right around this low. 2088 is the low. It closes 2096. So between that $8 range right here, that's going to be the next significant level. I'm still holding my shares. Looking for a move up to 2200. We'll see if that does occur. I believe it will, even though it might take until earnings, so we could chop around a little bit here until that does happen. But the same pattern that's shown up on everything else. If it does pull back, a great level to look for is going to be this 1958 to 1960 level, as well as this anchored VWAP, which actually came in a little bit earlier than the rest of the market here on March 16th. So between 1950 and 1890, I think it'd be another great opportunity to go ahead and add some more if I do see a pullback to those levels. So with all that said, I hope everybody had a very nice, profitable green week. They're taking advantage of these opportunities that are coming up in the market. Everybody have a happy Easter. Enjoy time with your family and stay safe and healthy.